So today I'm going to talk to you about how you can reprogram your mind and actually consciously start to choose the things that influence you and get to the point where you have a new identity of the person that you actually want to be. So I know it sounds maybe cringy about this idea of reprogramming your mind, but I do believe that it's just something that happens to our minds through media and other influences. So that's what I'm going to talk about today. And I'm going to talk about how you can actually use this reprogramming for your benefit. So before we begin, my name is Michael, and I help young men in their early 20s start to clear up their free time and use that free time for more purposeful work like entrepreneurship. So check out that link in the description if you'd be interested. So, yeah, over the years, I've kind of naturally started decreasing the amount of content and media and news I've been consuming to where now I'm at a point where the only media that I consume is self-improvement and entrepreneurship content. Like, I don't watch prank videos on YouTube. I don't watch highly stimulating things. I don't watch a lot of TV, a lot of sports. Like none of that stuff is really relevant to purposeful work. And so naturally, I've been getting away from that type of media and then just more so focusing on this one channel of media, which is self-improvement and entrepreneurship. And yeah, as far as TV goes, every so often I'll turn on Netflix and I'll watch like a couple episodes of a TV show. But even that, I'm still aware that it's an influence on your mind, and it reinforces this behavior of leisure and comfort, which I'm trying to get away from and just move to more of a totally purposeful, productive person. So naturally, I have been gravitating towards this type of mindset, and I started to understand the things that were influencing my mind. And those things are media, news, education, from like younger education, edu elementary school to high school, and then even college. All those things that you learn from people that you viewed as authority figures were giving you influence and were making up what you believe about yourself. And so once I started to understand that, how easily influenceable your mind is, I started to become more careful about what's entering my mind. And so that's why naturally I'm getting away from all these other things like social media, news, politics, sports, and really focusing on the more meaningful stuff like self-improvement and actually improving yourself and entrepreneurship. So that's more so what I mean by reprogramming your mind. I'm not saying like sit in a chair, put on like a helmet, and like reprogram your mind. Like it's more of a natural process. So that's what I'm going to talk about is how you can start to do that for yourself. And before I get into that, I just wanted to talk a little bit about like how this has helped me, which is because of all this content I've been consuming about self-improvement and entrepreneurship, it's kind of the life I've been living now. Like every morning I wake up and I do my morning routine. And one of the first things that I do is record a video. And it's like purposeful work. Like one of the first things I do is purposeful work. And I've gotten to this point because of the content I've consumed and the books I've read. And also, when I'm done with this, I go to the gym. I go to the gym every single day. So now I'm starting to view myself as the guy who has a solid morning routine, goes to the gym every day, and is an entrepreneur. Like I actually view myself as an entrepreneur. But before, like a couple years ago, I kind of felt like I would be successful. I kind of felt like I had this capability in me, but like I'd be shy and reserved about telling people who I actually am. And so this content type of content has allowed me to view myself in this way and be more confident at displaying who I actually am, which is an entrepreneur. And I've taken this identity because of the content and books I've been reading. And so I'm aware of it. Like I'm aware of how this is influencing me, but I feel like it's influencing me in the right direction. So I'm not telling you to just like blindly follow this type of media. Like you do have to be aware of what you're consuming because it because the people that you're following can tell you to start doing things that are actually not good for your life. So it's all about actually like consuming it, letting it enter your mind, and then trying it out for yourself and seeing what works. But yeah, I just wanted to make that point that like that right now, my habits and how I feel about myself and who I view myself as are a result of all the content that I've been consuming over the years. And I don't think I would have gotten to this point if I didn't consume that content. So I feel like I reprogrammed my mind in a better way. So that's what I want to help you with, is just help you understand the things that are influencing your mind, help you limit the bad influences, and then start to understand the good influences and then just consuming more of the good influences. So, like I said, there's like a couple main areas that these influences are coming from. Media, like social media, news, and An easy way to think about this is any screen. Any screens that you see, like your phone, any TVs around you, if you're out to eat at a restaurant, any TVs that you see, that's all media. You have to realize that it is influencing your mind every single day. So say you went out to eat and you saw this headline that said 14-year-old killed, and then there's another headline below that says 100 deaths in St. Louis so far. Well, whether you get engaged in this message or not, whether you realize like, oh, this is just a news headline, like I don't need to worry about this, whether you like tell yourself like you don't let that type of stuff get to you, no matter how strong you think your mind is, that tiny flash of news headline, if you saw it, it entered your mind. Just that tiny flash of the news headline entered your mind. And so there's going to be a little part of you thinking that, wow, it's St. Louis is bad to live in. Things are getting bad. Kids are dying. It's dangerous to live here. So you're living in just a little bit more fear than you would have just by that small headline and small flash of information. Now think about this if you're scrolling through social media. Think about how many pieces of information there are on social media, how many videos there are, how many headlines there are. Think about all these tiny different influences that you're getting every single day. It's crazy. So the key is to first limit the amount of media you're consuming, and then also just start consuming better stuff. Start consuming more positive content. Get rid of all the bad stuff. You don't need to see those news headlines about people dying. It's not important. It's going to make you live in fear more. To get rid of all that stuff in your life. That's one thing. Another thing to realize is the influence you've gotten from your education. We've all gotten influenced by our teachers growing up. We've all got influenced by our family and our friends. And we've all gotten influenced by our college professors if we went to college. So think about the information that they're teaching you because you view them as an authority figure. And that's just because of how the structure is set up. Like the teacher student dynamic is that the teacher knows more than the student. So naturally, you're just going to trust the teacher. But what you don't realize is that the teacher's a person just like you. And if you're like me, you don't actually know shit. So this teacher who may not know shit is teaching you as a student, and they're influencing your mind. And that is how you start to like shape your identity of yourself. So you've gotten programmed, and you've gotten programmed by the education system. So you do have to understand that we naturally trust authority figures, and they're people just like us. People make mistakes. People are wrong. People are stupid. So stop viewing it as this dynamic of like their title. Oh, they're the teacher, so they know what they're talking about. No, they're a person. This person's probably an idiot. Like I'm an idiot sometimes. Well, I am an idiot because I'm a person. So just start to understand how we view authority figures and realize that we let them influence our minds when in reality they may not know what they're talking about. So just understand that. And then the last influence I wanted to talk about is our friends and family. So just be careful of having like toxic people in your life. You know, any sort of like toxic people that make you feel guilty and bad about yourself, like try to avoid that if you can. Try to that, limit those interactions. Try to stay away from it. Like you want to feel good about yourself, right? You want to feel more confident. And if someone is not helping with that, someone is making you feel bad about how you feel about yourself, how you view your future, then they're toxic. So just try to move away from that if you can. Try to help them if you can, but if you can't, if they can't be saved, then just accept the loss of that dynamic. And you'll find that when you understand these influences and realize like all the negativity that can come from all these influences, then it's easier to start consuming what you think is good for you. So understand these influences, understand the things that are negative for you and making you feel like shit, make you live in fear, like the news headlines talking about people dying every day. It's making you live in fear. Stay away from that stuff. And naturally just start consuming better content. Start consuming longer form content, authentic content, unedited content, not as highly stimulating content. Seek to learn from content. Don't allow the the content to just enter your mind. Like you have to be on guard at all times when you're watching content because it can influence you in the wrong direction. So this is how you understand your influences, and then once you start consuming better content, then naturally you will just start to view yourself in a better light. You will be healthier, and then you'll take on a different identity. Like if you view content from entrepreneurs and that's all you view, then naturally you might take on the identity as an entrepreneur. And then once you have that identity, then you just start doing things that an entrepreneur does. An entrepreneur goes to the gym every day. An entrepreneur wakes up early. An entrepreneur works on purposeful work first thing in the morning. So just start thinking about that. And yeah, that's how you actually reprogram your mind. Again, if you like more help, check out that link in the description. And yeah, thanks for watching. Hit that like and subscribe button. Thanks.